GearNetwork.com.
The following is a presentation of the Gear Radio Network.
This is Roxy from Vixen, and you're listening to All Bets Are Off with Robbie Vegas. Rev it up, Robbie.
What's up, rock soldiers? This is the Rockstar Robbie Vegas with another brand new episode of the All Bets Are Off podcast. Thank you for joining me here today. We had a couple weeks off, much needed. And we are back today with Julia Lage. She is the bassist currently of Vixen. And we have her on discussing the new single that just came out, Red, with the brand new music video. But we're also going to jump into her career as a whole. So I'm looking forward to talking to Julia here for the first time. I know you've heard plenty from the girls of Vixen on the All Bets Are Off podcast, so stick with it. I know you guys love these episodes. It's going to be a lot of fun. Here's a little clip of Red right now, and then after the interview, we'll play the song for you in
On
full.
the meter of what's hard and hard as hell, we're beyond the point of no return as far as I can tell. On the scale of 0 to infinity, we're blinking out the system, crossing boundaries. Don't stop what you're doing, I ain't felt this before. Don't stop for a second, baby, give me more. We're peaking and we're rocking, the Richter's off the charts. I know where you're taking this, very, very far. And to the red, you're pushing on my buttons. To the edge, I'm getting such a rush. So intense, don't let it.
All right, Julia. So first thing I want to do is thank you for being here, and you also are a first for my show. Do you know why?
No, why?
Because you are the first husband and wife combo I've ever had on the show, because Richie's been on the show too.
Oh my God, I didn't know that. That's so
Yes.
cool. Oh
Yep.
my God, when was that?
Oh man, it had to be, it was right as 50 for 50 was coming out.
Oh, there you go. Oh my God, that album is nuts. It was
Yeah.
50 songs. Yeah, I experienced that process. Oh, that's so cool. Next time we should do me and Richie together in your show.
Oh, 100%. I'm in. You tell him and we'll make it happen.
Yeah, well, thanks for having me here, Robbie. Anyways, I mean, I'm ready to chat about everything, all Vixen stuff, whatever you want to chat. I'm super stoked.
Awesome. Well, I got a lot of questions for you, and it's not even all Vixen stuff. So I might catch you off guard with some things.
Oh, okay. Let's see if my brain still works.
Well, right off the bat, I want our listeners who aren't familiar yet with you to get to know you a little bit. So you are from Brazil.
Yes.
And you started performing relatively young, and you were doing some big stuff when you were 17?
Yeah, I joined this band in Brazil. I was 17 years old. It was my first band, professionally. And they were already in a cool stage where, we were touring big places, doing TVs. At one point, we had a bus with our faces on it. We were doing arenas. At one point, we got nominated for a Latin Grammy as well. So we did pretty great there in Brazil. But I joined the band super young. I was 17. And it was my first gig right out of the bat, like, boom. So that was pretty cool.
Yeah. I mean, how many people could say their first gig is that big?
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, I did have other gigs, like with some friends. Actually, funny fact, my first band ever was all female. So it was 3 girls. Mm-hmm. And I wanted to play it all. I wanted to play, sing, and play drums as well. So I was always rotating, but it was just fun. So yeah, professionally 17, that band was the first band, and I stayed there for 13 years, man.
Oh my God. Wow.
Mm-hmm.
No, did you say when you were starting, you were playing drums too?
Yes, I love drums. I wanted to be a drummer.
Wow.
But my mom was like, Julia, there's no way we can fit a drum kit in this apartment. We lived in an apartment in Brazil back then. So I was like, bummer. So, okay, I'm going to have to play the bass. And I love the bass. I mean, I was always about the rhythm section for some reason. I always loved the sound of the bass. I play a little bit of everything, a little bit of guitars and all, but like the bass and the drums for me are just, I don't know. I love that combination so much. It's so rock and roll anyway. So
yeah, you're right. I mean, you were born to be in the rhythm section in some kind of way, right?
I think I did. Exactly. Yes.
So now I could be wrong on this next thing, but I'll ask you anyways. But you have a bachelor's in music, is that right?
I
You
do,
do.
yeah. You know, my mom and my father, they always talked about that for me. Like my mom is a teacher also, although she's a badass. She works in big companies and blah blah blah. My father was a teacher, and so they were both teachers. And I always had that in my mind. I was like, well, if music doesn't really go the way I expect, I can always teach. You know. So I went out. I actually joined college to be a conductor, and but it was 6 years the whole course, and I was already touring with the band in Brazil.
Hmm.
So I changed the course to get a BA, a BA. How do you call it?
Yeah, yeah.
Brazilians, I lose the word sometimes. But anyway, so I got a degree in BA degree, and because it was 3 years only, so I could complete that at least, and because I was missing classes all day long because I was traveling so much. So, but I do have
Wow.
a BA in music. I do.
Wow. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Now, you said you were going to be originally a conductor.
Yeah.
So, did you start out loving rock and roll and drift into other music, or was it the other way around?
Was kind of the other way around. I did start, I grew up listening to classical music like Mozart, Beethoven, Chopin,
Mhm.
all that stuff, and operas and stuff. So when I thought about rock and roll was mostly around my 14, 15 years old. My mom introduced me to rock and roll actually. Because I
Okay.
was playing the flute, I was in a total different world. And my mom introduced me to rock and roll, and that was the perfect age for it because I was, a teenager by then. I had all that energy, and you're always angry, don't know why. So I listened to this music and it's rock and roll, and I'm like, oh my god, yeah! So I switched to rock and roll like this, like no shame.
Oh, I love it.
But yeah, but I started with classical for sure.
But rock and roll just, I mean, maybe it's just because I met you within the last couple of years, but rock and roll just seems to suit you. You have this natural stage presence and charisma that just comes out like effortlessly. You're not trying, you just are rock and roll.
Just loving it. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
literally who I am. Yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
it works for you. So
it did.
now you were in the band that we were just talking about for 13 years. So did you then go on and is that how you met Richie? You started playing bass for him? Is that what happened or what, or did you know him first and play bass for him after?
Well, yeah, I met him first, and then I played with him after. Actually, it was funny because I met him in Brazil,
Hmm.
and we started to date, and then everything worked perfect. And he was like, "What are we gonna do?" And then I'm like, "I don't know." And then he was like, "Why don't you move to LA with me?" And I was like, "Oh my god, I have my whole life here. My whole life was in Brazil."
Hmm.
But I was pretty tired of the band and the whole scenario, and I wasn't really playing what I love because I really do love rock and roll,
Hmm.
and it was more like a country type of music, Brazilian country. So I was like, maybe it's time. So I did that. I quit the band. I moved here, and then on that process, it took years because I have to get a visa. I have to do the whole paperwork. It's very, very consuming and hard.
Yeah.
So meanwhile, he was touring in Europe and he invited me to play with him. So we could be together and we could actually play together. So I did that. That was the first time I played with him. We had a tour in Europe, 18 countries, just me and him. So he would start the show with the acoustic guitar, half of the show in, he would call me and I'll play the last half of the show with him, the bass. And it was so awesome. Like I traveled with him through Europe,
Hmm.
played music. It was just like the best vibe. So that's how we started to play together, I guess. But
Yeah.
it was very sweet.
Yeah, that's excellent. Now, and during this whole time, you're playing with Richie, and you were in that other band for such a long time. Were you already doing solo music too?
Yeah, I started writing on my solo stuff in Brazil, but because it was not that type of music, it was more towards rock. It
Hmm.
never really worked for me to proceed something, because like they were like, oh, let's do this, always this music, and I'm like, I don't know. And they were weird with this, like, I want to have a soul career parallel to this just for my soul. And they
Hmm.
were weird about it. They were like, no, you can't. And I was like, I don't understand. And I was so young too. Like when I joined the band, I had never had other experiences. So I didn't even know if that was okay or not.
Mm-hmm.
So I had some songs, actually had songs in their album in Brazil, but not really my type. So when I finally left, I started writing again. And then I was like excited because now I have no barriers, like no walls, no rules. I was like, let me just express myself. So, but I was always writing, but never finishing and releasing it
Okay.
until I start showing to Richie my stuff. And he's like, whoa, you have great stuff. Why don't you release? I'm like, because I don't know. Like, release it. So finish and release. Actually only by quarantine, when quarantine hit, I start actually having time to think about is okay, what do I really have that I love? Where do I start? So on quarantine, I start releasing my singles, my solo stuff. But it took
Mhm.
so long, But I did that, and now I'm like excited. I have so many more stuff coming actually too, and I'm finishing other stuff. I can't wait.
Oh, wow. That's
But
excellent.
yeah, but it's been a process, and I'm loving the process. I'm rediscovering all sorts of things,
Mhm.
my voice, other stuff that I like to play. I mean, it's just awesome. I love this whole process of writing. You write too, like
Yeah.
you know how it
Yeah, I
goes.
do. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, of course.
So I guess that leads me into bringing up how you do have your hand in so many things because you also play in the Sister Knot.
Yes,
So,
yes,
and I
yeah.
see a lot of stuff coming up when, on your off time from Vixen and things like that. Now, I don't know about this next thing, so you'll have to let me know, but are you releasing music with the Sister Knot too, or is that just a live performance, or how does that
we
work?
have we have stuff with them as well because when I moved to LA, they were my first band. We put together the band, me and Tati, the singer. We
Mhm.
put together this band because we wanted to write, and we are both Brazilians, so we had all different experiences with different music from Brazil. So we're like, let's just do that. So we start writing our own stuff as well. So yeah, Sister Lodge is always gonna be there, I think, because we do have songs in common that we wrote in the past that are actually out there released. We released 3 songs that we are super proud of. We have
Mhm.
Pablo Martins on guitar. I love him. He's amazing. So we are actually finishing a few other stuff that we have. We're gonna release. No rush, just like it's good for the soul. So we're doing that as well. We have at least 2 songs almost ready. But I have my also my solo stuff ready to go. So, you know, because it's what he said, like we're always touring a lot with Vixen, which I'm
Mhm.
so thankful, and I love playing with the girls. And but when I'm there, I'm in Vixen mode. So we come back home, you refresh for the next show, for the next tour. I'm not really thinking about Julia or Sister Not. So now that we're gonna start slowing down a little,
Mhm.
it's when you bring back the other stuff. So I
Yeah,
think
yeah,
it's all exciting.
yeah. That's excellent. So let's talk Vixen now here. So you were a big fan of rock and roll. So were you already a Vixen fan?
It's funny. Vixen in Brazil was big,
Mhm.
but I think I only knew, if I'm not wrong, I think it was Love is a Killer because it was
Oh, okay.
pretty. I mean, they love ballads in Brazil. They really do. And so I remember that song for sure. But again, as I told you, I grew up listening to classical music, like it was a
Right.
totally different thing. And then I started listening to rock and roll, of
Mhm.
course. And yes, I knew of Vixen, but I didn't know the majority of the stuff. Like I didn't know that much or that
Mhm.
well. But I knew they were like cool chicks. They playing guitars and drums and bass. And then I've seen them on MTV. So I
Mhm.
remember for sure. But I could never even imagine, like, I could never even imagine that I was going to be living in the United States no matter what. Imagine playing with the girls. So, but yeah,
Yeah,
but they were around.
yeah. So how do you find your way into Vixen? Tell us that story.
Well, what happened is Cher was ready to take a hiatus, right? And so I knew Brit for a while. I mean, I know Brit for a long time. She almost was part of Sister Not. In the
Oh,
beginning, she was the third wheel, and
wow.
I don't know if that's the third wheel is not the right thing to say.
No, that's fine. That's fine.
It was a third piece.
Yeah.
But then she just got the, yeah. I mean, Brazilians don't know much of the. Anyway, move on. So then she got the gig with Vixen,
Mhm.
and we were like, man, go for it. I mean, don't no worries about it. Just do your thing, of course. So I knew
Yeah.
Brit for a long time, and we actually worked together. I remember I got this call to play with Alejandra Guzman, which is super incredible artist from Mexico. She's huge there, and they were doing a live album here.
Mhm.
And they were like, do you know any guitar player, female? I'm like, well, yeah, Brit. So she ended up joining the project. We had this whole live album that we recorded for Alejandra, and we recorded the Roxy actually.
Oh, wow.
Anyhow, so by then we had worked together, and so she was like, well, I think Julia is a good fit for Vixen, you know, because she sings, she plays bass, whatever. And she knew me, she knew my personality, she knew we'll probably match, you know. And I think Larry also, the manager, knew about me from Richie. And I don't know, I'm not sure what the process that they had. I know there were other girls in mind, but that was it. So they called me, asked if I would be willing to, you know, play with them. I was like, yeah, they're I'm like, absolutely, yeah. And I was ready, you know, to just do something different too, because I was doing a lot of my stuff as well. So I was like, yeah, I'm ready for that for sure. So absolutely. So that's how it happened.
Okay, and you've been in the band what, 2 years now?
It's gonna be 2 years. Actually, I joined the band and I played for the first time with them at the cruise, at the Monsters of Rock cruise pre-party.
Oh, okay.
So Cher played the show and she announced, you know, her decision and introduced me, and I went on stage and played the last 3 songs with them. And I was like, oh, cool, this is gonna be fun.
Yeah.
So
And that's a clever way to do that. That's clever. I don't know that I've ever heard of another band doing something like that, where they have the original member actually calling out the person that's going to be taking over. That was a really clever way to do that.
I thought it was very nice, very thoughtful. So everybody knows that nobody's leaving for weird reasons. It's just it's all good stuff, you know. So I thought it was very cool. And that was in February 2022. So yeah, I mean, that show, well, in February is gonna be 2 years I'm in the band officially. Yeah.
Wow, that's pretty amazing.
And time flies because it feels like it was the other day. It's crazy.
Yeah, I'm sure. So the new single is out now, Red, and you guys have been pushing it like crazy. There's been interviews, there's been articles, and it's a great song. So any of my listeners who haven't heard it yet, it will be playing at the end of this interview. So stick around and listen to it at the end of the interview. And then there will be a link when the interview drops so that you can watch the brand new music video. So let's kind of get into that. So you actually recorded this song last summer.
Yeah.
Right? Now,
yeah, I guess so. Oh my God, that's true. Because we've been working on the song for a minute now and trying to find the best time to do everything. You know, again, we weren't super busy. So it takes time, I guess. And then to find the right time, to find the right people to work with. And so I think, you know, it came out in a good time. I think it was a good timing.
Yeah, I mean, the timing couldn't have been better because you guys had an insane year this year. You guys were so busy. And for it to be hitting now at just the perfect time for things to slow down so people could soak that in is just, it just couldn't have worked out any better for you guys. So when you were actually going through the process of, you know, getting it down and recording it and all that stuff, what was that process like for you and the girls? Because that's the first time you guys have been in that kind of situation together.
Yeah, I mean, when I joined the band, they already had, I think, in mind that they were gonna do Red. So that was already the thing. So I remember when we started recording, well, the process was like a session for me because we didn't get together and rehearse and do arrangements. We had Fred Curry producing, so he had an idea of what he wanted. So basically, Roxy recorded drums, sent him the tracks. I went to the studio, record the bass, and then so on. So we actually did some vocals here in my house. I love Pro Tools, and I said, "Don't worry, I can help with the background." So Britt and I came here, and then Fred was on a conference with us, like, you know, producing us and stuff. So we did that here, but that was fun. I don't mind. I do everything here. Me and Rich record all the albums here anyway, so that was cool. But yeah, I mean, that was the process. And Lorraine went at a certain point to the studio, put the vocal, and then we're like, all right, how does that sound, right? So he said that they finally sent the mix and the master and stuff. We're like, oh, cool, this is gonna be fun. And you know, it's super exciting to have new material, to have I'm all for new material to explore the new formation on everything, it's I'm very happy that we have something new to just work around it, and it's exciting. It's all good news, I guess.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And the music video too is it's a cool video. It's really clever, and you guys each have your own kind of individual scenes throughout the video.
Yeah.
Did you choose yours, or how did that come about?
Well, let me put some light here for you, because I don't know if it makes a difference or not. But well, we have Vicente working with us. I know Vicente for a long time because he does all Rich's videos, the winery dogs and stuff, and he has a beautiful camera. Like, everything looks amazing.
Mhm.
And Vicente and Drew worked together, and they wrote some options on what to do on the videos and stuff. So at the beginning, it was something different for me, but once we got to the bar, to the Reiko
Mhm.
bar,
Right.
and then you had Lemmy there, we're like, man, we have to use Lemmy, come on.
Right.
So it was actually an improvised thing that happened just there. I was like, we have to use Lemmy. So I thought it was so cool. I was just like, hey man, respect for sure.
Yeah.
So, but we had like an idea of what to do for sure. Like, the car scene, Lorraine on the moto, Roxy walking by the Roxys. So that was all cool. Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, and I'm sure you guys were having a blast, and you filmed it, obviously on location over 2 days. And
Yeah.
I thought for doing that for 2 days, like, you guys really knocked it out of the park and hustled your asses off. I don't think people really realize how much work goes into that.
I don't think they do. Even though, like, the last part of the video, we are on the rooftop in downtown LA. People might not know, but it was raining. We
Mhm.
were wet. We were
Yeah.
cold. We were freezing, but we were rocking.
Yeah. And I was going to bring that up. Yeah.
Yeah. They don't know, but it was raining, and it was like, what happened? Like, it was supposed to be a gorgeous day. The weather, it was like supposed to be sunny, sunshine, and whatever, sunrise and all that. And it's like, it's raining. What happened
Yeah.
to the cat? Like, so I don't know. It was whatever. We're like, whatever. Let's keep doing this, because who cares? It's the rock
Yeah.
and roll. So we were there, rain or not, we're just rocking, and it was great. I mean, I prefer stories like that,
Yeah.
yes, it was
Yeah.
raining, it was miserable, but we did it, and it was great.
And it was rock and roll.
Totally rock and roll.
And you know what? You guys did it. You did it in the rain. You finished the video, and then you had like a day break, and then you were flying out to Texas to play a gig. So I mean, like, what's more rock and roll than that?
I love that. I love a busy schedule. I mean, honestly, like, we did something crazy too when we went to Europe. We played at the Wacken show, Wacken Festival, which is incredible.
Oh,
So
that's
yes, there you go. Absolutely. So we went there. We flew all the way to Germany. We played the show, and then we played in Sweden, and then we flew back, and then I think we had another Texas gig right after. And it was just like, whatever. It was just like, I don't know if I'm in Germany, in the United States. We're going, and it was great. I love that. I don't
you
mind.
guys. You had a hell of a year for sure, and it was impressive, and you guys kicked some ass. Now, you mentioned earlier about singing and doing vocals in your house, and you do bring a lot of great harmonies to Vixen. You have a great voice. So I guess my question with that is, do you have certain songs that you prefer, or that are your favorites to sing or play, or both?
Well, I like singing what is my songs, because I wrote and I feel connected with, and and I usually like to work on high vocals and stuff, so it's challenging, but I like it. But other people's songs, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I don't sing lead on Vixen, of course, but I do star Love is a Killer, which is very nice. I like doing that. But if I have to think about other people's songs that I like to sing, I love some good karaoke. Don't take me wrong. And I love singing anything Aerosmith, anything Whitesnake, anything Heart. I love Heart to death. I love them. I mean, I like the crazy stuff. I don't know. I like singing the high stuff.
Yeah. No, that's great. That's great. Well, you kind of just led me into my next question with that, because I was going to ask you, since you went from like more classical and then into rock and roll, who were your first like inspirations to not just start listening to rock and roll, but to start playing rock and roll?
Well, is what was happening in Brazil in the radio back then. I mean, a lot of that, a lot of like Metallica, Aerosmith, Guns N' Roses, Van Halen, all that stuff. But I remember listening to Led Zeppelin and James Joplin. My mom showed me those bands. I was like, this is so good. And I was like mind blown. I wanted to learn. And then slowly I started opening my mind more to it. And well, when I saw first time Steven Tyler, I was like, who is this guy? What is that? I want to be him. I wanted to be him. I remember I had a Walkman, and I had the CD, Aerosmith CD, and I'll go to my bathroom in the night. Like I was living with my mom. I was going to the bathroom, lock myself. I'll put the Walkman. I'll hold like something like my brush, and I'll be like pretending that I was Steven Tyler. I was crying. I was like, I don't know. I had this crazy thing, and I wanted to be him. And he had this little droopy thing in his mouth, and I wanted to keep open my mouth to see if I get that to crazy stuff. I was obsessed with him, and I knew I wanted to do what he was doing, whatever that was. And that was when I finally met him. I was shaking.
Oh my God,
I couldn't believe. But for sure that. And on the bass side, it was hilarious because I was listening to the radio, and then Tom Sawyer starts playing, and I'm like, whoa, this is cool. And the bass, like, and I'm like, what is this? Chick sounds so cool, and she sings. I didn't know. Didn't have YouTube back then. I didn't know. And then finally, MTV and all that stuff, I discovered that actually the girl is Galilee.
Yeah, right.
Which, by the way, became a huge influence to me. I mean, I love Rush. I'm a geek, but I do love, I watched them twice, and it was insane. And he became a big influence to me. I mean, in college, I had fun just to play around, but I had we had a little tribute, a Rush tribute. Oh, wow. So I was doing bass and singing, and that helped me so much to develop the coordination and you have to, have two brains, like you're thinking bass, you're thinking singing. So that helped me a lot for sure.
Wow, that's awesome. That's really cool. So what was the tribute called?
I don't remember. It was not even, we didn't play anywhere. We would rehearse on the rehearsing studio in the college because we wanted just to get some chops and whatever. We called tribute because we're just playing Rush, but it was not to go out and play for people. It was just to have fun.
Gotcha.
So it was just Rush. So it was cool.
That's great. That's awesome.
Yeah.
All right. So before we wrap this up and we get you out of here, I want you to plug the upcoming Vixen shows. And I also want you to plug your social media so that anybody who listens to the show that doesn't follow you can start following you. And then they can see all your updates with Vixen, Sister Knot, your solo stuff, whatever you post for Richie, like they can get everything. So.
Yeah. Well, first of all, you guys, we still have 2 shows coming with Vixen. On the 14th, we'll be in Kansas with Slaughter, Stephen Piercy, Greg White. And then we go December 1st, we have Mexico City, which I'm super excited. We're going to play at the Life After Death Festival, which is, I'm so looking forward. And obviously we have the Monsters of Rock next year, which is in March. And that's going to be probably one of the best ones I've seen. The lineup is insane. Yeah. So definitely follow Vixen Official. And check out Red. The new single is bomb. The video is awesome. We're super, excited to work. We're going to be playing Red live too. So that's exciting. And follow me on social media. I'm Julia Lage everywhere. And I'm going to be releasing pretty soon some new material as well. My stuff, Sister Knot. So yeah, stay tuned. Follow me. I'm more active on Instagram. I'm not going to lie. But I'm everywhere. I have a website, julialage.com. And over there, you have info for everything: shows, merch, music, anything. Not personal life much because,
Yeah. Yep, I know.
But I'm pretty open. Like I show a lot though on my socials though. Me and Richie, we like to play around the house and make sketches. But I don't know. We're funny people, so we are always out there on social media no matter what. And we love all of you guys and all the support.
Excellent. Well, I got to say, so I told you before, you and Richie are the first husband and wife I've had on the show, but also I have now had both bass players from Vixen on the show.
Oh, there you go.
So you
I
are
like
you
that. I
you
like
are
the
a
connections.
first. You're a first twice.
First twice. I don't mind
Yes.
that. I'll take
Yeah.
it.
Right. You're breaking all kinds of records here. We'll find another one too.
Oh yeah. I'm gonna get another connection for you. We'll figure it out.
Yeah. You're gonna go back through and like scroll everybody I had on and go, oh, wait.
There you go.
Well, thank you so much for being here, Julia. I really appreciate your time.
Thank you, Robbie, so much. Have a great day, and I hope you keep rocking.
I will see you soon.
On the meter,
Yeah,
it's hard
bye.
and hard as hell. Way beyond the point of no return, as far as I can tell. On the scale of 0 to infinity, we're blinking out the system, crossing boundaries. Don't stop what you're doing, I ain't felt this before. Don't stop for a second, baby, give me more. We're peaking and we're rocking, the Richter's off the chart. I know where you're taking this, very, very far. And to the right, you're pushing on my buttons. To the edge, I'm getting such a rush. So intense, don't let it in. You're taking me into the rain, into the rain, into the rain. Automatically I fell into your lure. I cannot resist you, couldn't find a cure. Every time I feel you close to me, I lose myself completely, find it hard to breathe. Don't care what you're doing, you gotta make it last. You got me hypnotized, caught up in a trance. We're going out of bounds here, gonna ring alarms. I know where you're taking me, it's very, very far. To the right, you're pushing all my buttons. To the edge, I'm getting such a rush. So intense, don't let it in. You're taking me to the right, you're pushing me for sure. To the ledge, I'm getting such a fever in my head. Yes, it's the best. You're taking me into the rain. I'll give you the green light to go on through the night. I don't see no stop sign, let's do it, take me You're pushing on my buttons. I'm getting such a rush. Don't let it in. You're taking me to the right. You're pushing me for sure. To the ledge. I'm getting such a fever in my head. Yes, it's the best. You're taking me to the right. You're pushing on my buttons. To the edge. I'm getting such a rush. So intense, don't let it in. You're taking me to the You're taking me into the rain.
All right, rock soldiers. Once again, that was Julia Lage, and she is the current bass player for Vixen. That was Red that you just heard. I hope you guys love it. You can download it on any major streaming platform. That includes Apple Music, iTunes, Spotify, whatever you use, Amazon Music. It's on Pandora. There's about 150 platforms or more that song is streaming on. So chances are, whatever you use, it's out there. Please be sure to head to the YouTube channel and check out the music video as well. And the link is in the description of this show, whether you're listening on one of the mobile podcast apps or you're watching the video on YouTube. The link is down below. So check that out, and I will catch you next time on the All Bets Are Off podcast. The preceding presentation has been brought to you by the Gear Network.